Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Whoa! Do you feel better now? Welcome back to the channel. All right, today we are back on the ultimate welding cart build. But before we get started on that, I just want to give a huge thanks to all the new subscribers to the channel. So thank you, and I hope that you choose to stick around because I have a lot of cool projects coming up, and there's quite a bit of variety on the channel. It's not the same crap over and over and over again. And I do like to joke around a little bit. That's just my personality. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. With the last video, we've got the 3/16 plate for the welding top on here. I had a couple people comment saying that I should have put a heavier plate on that. I get it, but here's the thing. This is just for temporary little projects, a quick weld. This is not going to be like my main welding table. This is where I'm going to do all my fabricating. This thing is 3/8 plate. It can handle a lot more heat. I just need something that I can have my welders on, all my welding tools and supplies, the bottles attached to the cart with the welders, something I can wheel around the shop. And if this were any heavier, that's a lot of weight on this flimsy little lid that the Harbor Freight tool chest comes with. Not to mention the gas struts. I already had to beef those things up as it is. Any more weight is just not necessary for my project. Had a couple people tell me that my welding top is no longer isolated because I do have these isolators in here just for an air gap and to isolate the welding top from the rest of the metal on the cart, because they thought that these were magnets. These are not magnets. That's just like a foot pad off of, say, like a bench like this. I actually think they may have came off of that plasma table, but there's like a nylon pad on here. It is not conductive. I did check it with my meter, so we are still isolated on the top here. And of course, I was making a joke about it. A couple people were getting a little anxious that I didn't have a cap on the argon tank. I understand. It can be very dangerous. It is capped. Otherwise, everyone seemed to be really enjoying the project. Again, this is just my project. If you want to copy it, go ahead. The main thing is to get the juices flowing. Maybe you get some ideas from this for your own project. That's the point. Anyways, today we are going to work on the upper section of the bottle storage. So I'll throw this back in here again. We've got the lower section fabricated, but now we need something up top to kind of holster these tanks and hold them in place. Now, I already spent some time on Fusion, which is the CAD software that I use in conjunction with my Langmuir Crossfire Pro CNC plasma table. I will have download links for Fusion in the description, along with links for the plasma table and a discount code also in the description. Now, speaking of Fusion, the CAD software I use, I had a couple people ask if I would be creating a file package that I would put together and sell for the add-ons that we're doing to this Harbor Freight cart, or even possibly selling kits that you could buy and just attach to your cart. That is a great idea. I do sell a lot of my design files, but this one, it'll be a little bit tough. Once you start selling large metal objects with some weight to them, the shipping gets really expensive, logistics get tough, and to be honest, I'm just a one-man band. I really can't do that kind of volume, so I'm gonna put a little bit more thought into it. I might be able to come up with a solution, so just hang tight on that one. So I'm gonna throw some more steel here on the plasma table and we'll get these next pieces cut out. So let's get it done. All right, so here's what I've got. I've got these two pieces. They're identical. I'm sure you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. My thought is that they would go something like this. Hopefully you can see that. Then I have these back straps right here. There's two of them. And what I want to do with these is I want to form them around the contour right here. I want to give this whole bracket some thickness, and I have some reasoning behind it. I mean, I could just do one of these things and maybe slap a chain on each one of these ends and call it good. There's no fun in that. And boys just want to have fun. This is stupid. And I have to make a side profile for this, but I don't want to do that until I have them somewhat tacked together. I wasn't sure where I was going to end up with the brake and all that crap. Doesn't matter. Did I do that on the right side? Yeah. I already know what's going to happen. As soon as I kneel down, Dozer's going to come over and get right in my face. You just want me to pet you? When we come out here, it's so I can get work done. Damn it! You know, I like bringing them out here, but this really slows me down. I did leave a little extra length on this so I could trim it down. I mean, worst case scenario, if I f it up, I'll redo it. Which might happen. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I can guarantee there is. And I don't own a slip roll. All right. I don't know if I'd say that's a success. We're gonna find out. It's not bad for winging it. I know it's a little bit too big. I'm gonna have to form it in there. I think what I'll do is I will weld it starting at the bottom of the radius, and then I'll just continue to tack it all the way around as I form it in place, and I think we'll be all right. Anyways, I'm gonna dick around with this thing, hopefully get it tuned up real nice, and then we can finish this sucker up. All right, there's one side. I think this turned out pretty damn good, actually. Yeah, you can see I just made a bunch of tacks all the way around, and then I put a small break in the end. You'll see why I did that here once I'm getting closer to being done with this. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll get the side profile all done, cut on the plasma table. Come on, damn it! Come on, I heard it click. There we go. I'll tell you what, this magnetic torch holder, you could use it for your MIG torch, your TIG torch, whatever the torch you want to use. This thing works awesome. I mean, it collects a lot of metal shavings, but what isn't going to do that? I'll leave an Amazon link for this in the description. It's fairly cheap, yet priceless. All right, I have both of the inner sections, those straps welded in here. That actually came out probably as good as it could have. So you can see the basic idea of what I'm trying to do here. I just want it to look and be beefy. There are reasons why I did it this way. I have a latching system that I'm going to put here on the front of it, which you'll see here in just a little bit. But right now, what I want to do is make the side profile piece. I'm going to go ahead and jump back on Fusion, get that piece designed, we'll get it cut out, weld it on there, and then we can start working on the latching system, which I think is going to be pretty cool. All right, you can see what I'm trying to accomplish here with these end plates. Basically, I got a break right here. It's gonna fit right in between the other pieces. So the outside piece here is 12 gauge. The rest of it is 14 gauge. And then same thing on the other side. And you can see I cut in beefy. Because frankly, it's fucking beefy. So now I have these two little pieces right here. I'm calling these the latch gates. Now, if you look down this thing, the height here, the height here, and the height here, they're all the same. It's a straight line. This is the only one that's recessed down a little bit. This is gonna be the hinge point for these latch gates. Then I'm gonna use this little piece of 3/8 galvanized piping. So I'll trim these down. Basically what I'm gonna do is weld this to it, just like that. This piece right here is gonna turn out to be the whole damn video for the most part. Like I said, I could have made this real easy, but I like to overcomplicate things. It's not that bad, maybe 80 pounds. 90. Reminds me of my shake weight. All right, we're getting close. I did have one dilemma though. All right, I'm trying to get this all mocked up. You can see we got our little swing gates in here. And my original plan was to use this fancy little latch right here. This thing's actually pretty cool. And my thought was I would mount it right there. The only problem is, in order to get it where it's nice and perpendicular, I don't have enough room right here for the latch. So this isn't gonna work out anymore. I had to go to a little bit more basic design, which is probably for the best. The old barrel bolt. They had no more in black. That's what I really wanted. So I'm hoping that I can just get it mocked up with this one. I'll go back and get the black ones later. Okay. That looks like doo-doo. Test, test. Testes. I think that everything is mocked up as far as the main structure of this thing, which is great because now I can start building off of that. Believe it or not, there's actually a lot more to go. And I gotta paint the freaking thing. I still gotta nip off the extra thread on the back, but I think we'll be okay for testing. Okay. Okay. Well, pretty clear what the idea is here. I still gotta add some spacers in there. I mean, if this rattles around a little bit, I'm really not too worried about it. Doesn't have to be that tight. No matter what, it's beefy. So now you can kind of see the idea. Those two pieces of galvanized pipe right there welded on to these straps and the bolt going through. That's why that area was recessed. And then over here, I've got just a hole in the hollow section of that thing, just so it would look fairly clean. And we'll do the argon here. All right, check that out. Actually, a pretty nice tight fit. All right, I'm gonna throw just the Hobart welder and that bottle on here, and then we'll do some brainstorming. This is the dumbest thing. It's been this way for years. I know that's gonna give everybody anxiety. I mean, I think it'd be cool if it freaking took off like a rocket. Oh, holy balls, this thing is heavy. The Arc Captain TIG welder will go below, we know that. The torch cable for the MIG welder will tuck into that cubby, except for the ground. Over here we have our bottle storage. We are about 3/4 of an inch below that top. The other concern was that those casters need to be upgraded. Honestly, those casters are pretty damn beefy. This is a tool chest made to be filled with heavy tools. I really won't have that many tools in it. I mean, there's gonna be some weight in it, but I'm sure that those things are well overrated for what this thing is capable of holding. At the end of the day, who really gives a shit? Now, I just want to say something. I am not a fabricating expert. I'm not claiming to be. This is a small shop here. Anything that I'm doing here in the shop, I used to do the same kind of stuff out of my garage. I've got an $800 Hobart MIG welder. This CNC plasma table, you can get that entire table for under $5,000 shipped to your house. All you need is a laptop and an air compressor. This is just a Chinese pan brake, branded as Keika Industrial. Bally makes the same one, and I think, don't quote me on it, maybe Eastwood? I don't know. There's 3 manufacturers that make the identical pan brake. They're just all rebranded. But this thing right here, you can get for around $1,800. We're under $10,000 for those major components there to do what I'm doing. And if you want to throw some extra finishing touches on some of the metalwork or paint jobs, you can use a laser engraver. Now, of course, I am affiliated with X-Tool and Monport, so they did send me these lasers, and we're probably going to be using these on this welding cart video to add some finishing touches just for shitties and giggies. But my point is, you don't have to have a full-on fab shop in order to do stuff like this. And with any one of these pieces of equipment, you can make some serious side money right out of your garage or right out of your barn that you already have. And I always leave links for all of my equipment or machine down in the description. And most of them, if not all of them, have discount links. Now I, myself, just like everyone, uses YouTube as a resource to see how other people are doing things or flat out learn how to do things. And it works both ways. Because I'm doing this in multiple videos, I'd like to ask for your input on some of these next things that I want to do here. Oh yeah. All right, what I have here is a terminal block. You can see it's got 1 larger lug on it and 3 smaller ones. And we have some other terminals, male and female, typically what you would see plug into your welder. My plan is to take this terminal lug right here and mount it somewhere underneath here. I'm not sure exactly where. I could definitely find a spot. Maybe somewhere on the backside over here. What I want to do is reroute the ground from the Hobart welder into this, the ground from the Arc Captain welder into this. I also want to weld a tab onto the bottom of the welding top, take a ground from there and come down to this. And then out of the fourth opening, I want to bring another grounding cable somewhere up toward the front here, maybe somewhere in this gap right here. And I want to bolt this female one on with the ground wire going to that terminal block somewhere in this area, just like that. So the idea is that if I have this female ground port right here bolted on somewhere in this vicinity, I can have just a regular ground clamp with the male end already on it. That way, if I'm welding on my fab table or I'm welding a project that's right here in front of it on the ground, like the wood splitter project, I can take this, plug it into that female port right here, which ties in with the grounds on both welders, and I could take this and clamp it to my project. That is my plan for the grounds. I think it's a pretty solid plan. I just have to figure out the wire management and where to mount that terminal block. That should not be too difficult. But before I do it, I want to get your input because maybe there's something that I'm not seeing and you are. And if I have a ground tab already welded on the welding top, I don't need to clamp any of my projects. I could just throw a chunk of metal on the top here, make my weld, it's already grounded. I'm just gonna put this other freaking welder on here. We need a visual. Clearly, cable management is gonna be a whole separate project, which we're gonna look at right now. Now, we're gonna look at the backside of this sucker. As far as power goes, we'll start with that first. We've got a power cable for each welder, obviously. And the Arc Captain has a pretty dinky one compared to the Hobart. I mean, look how much girthier that thing is. It's like a baby's arm holding an apple. So my thought is, I'll take the power cord, I'll route it inside into this area right here. Same with this one. I just got to figure out a nice clean way to do it. And what I want to do is I want to build a back panel for this. And in that back panel, I'm going to fabricate a junction box on both the outside and the inside. The inside junction box on that panel is going to house 2 of these welding outlets. So each one of these welders will plug into the plugs from the inside, and they'll stay plugged in all the time. On the outside, there'll be 1 junction box with 1 extension cord that I'll be able to unwind and plug into the welding outlet. And that 1 cord will be tied into both welders. Now, there's not going to be any point where I am running both of these welders at the same time. So that is not a concern. I already know someone's going to mention that. It's going to be one or the other. It doesn't matter if they're both plugged in. So that is the plan. Unfortunately, I did want to get more done in this video, but I also want to take advantage of any suggestions you may have or concerns. So I'm going to end it right here, and I'll be waiting to hear from you before I continue on the grounding and the wire management. So if you want to see this thing completely done, consider subscribing so you can catch the last video. The third one should be it. And then we're gonna be moving on to the wood splitter project, which again, I would love to get your suggestions on that as well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. That is freaking beautiful. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just do the freaking corners. F it. Freaking crisp. Shake weight. Who the f has a shake weight? It's protected. If I could put 2 caps on it, I would. That's how I ended up with kids. It's gonna look factory. That's what I like. I like the factory look. Boot is always coming loose. Oh yeah, it's beefy.